Now we're going to do some picture association.
Okay.
So this is your logo.
Yeah.
So if you could tell the audience how you came about that and the colors. I think it's pretty cool, actually.
Well, it's fun, a fun story. Well, first of all, I had to come up with a name.
Yeah, why don't you start with that?
So Feet-to-the-Fire Writers Workshops. I'm a writer, right?
Sure.
I better come up with a good name, right? And that's part of the video.
Yes.
I thought, you know, people want to be held accountable. They need to be held accountable. Writing is a very singular, isolating kind of a pursuit. And so if you have somebody that will egg you on, that will push you and encourage you and hold your feet to the fire every week in a workshop, you're probably going to do it.
Right.
And if you have peers that are there, they're expecting something from you too. And it's an interesting form of peer pressure to be in a writing group because you don't want to disappoint the group. So people show up.
Yeah.
And so the feet to the fire was, you know, the metaphor of holding people's feet to the fire, holding them accountable. But then the other part of it was I wanted this very intimate, close, non-classroom kind of a workshop. So I wanted it in my living room, and I had a fireplace. And I thought, it's October. When I started, it was October. I built a fire. I thought, we are literally going to have a fire. It was the hottest October night on record. We wound up opening up the windows. I never did light the fire that night, and nobody said a word.
That's unbelievable, isn't it? Now, here you are.
That's
traveling?
I was in Santa Fe.
Awesome.
I was with my daughter, Lucia. We were on a fun week-long trip. It was a couple of springs ago.
Okay.
And I just sat down next to these two bear sculptures, and they were cute. They looked like they were going to grab me, actually, but they didn't.
Now, what's going on here?
That's my pilot group from Brownsboro Park Retirement Community. That was one of the pilot groups that I started there with the Feet to the Fire Writers Workshops for seniors. And they had just finished doing an open mic reading. Okay. Which is really cool.
That is cool.
Yeah.
That is cool.
And they were very proud of their writing, and I was so proud of them, too.
I got you. That's great.
That is a really important picture because that is my oldest student to date. He passed away. His name is Al, and he was 104 when he passed away. That's amazing. He came to my workshop, and he looked me dead in the eye with these beautiful blue eyes, and he said, I don't have any stories.
Wow.
And I said, oh, yes, you do.
Yes, you do. Yes.
And he showed up every week, and he wrote his stories, and he wrote his stories, and he never faltered.
That's great. What's going on here?
It was a photo shoot, I believe, for, and I was just sitting on my couch.
That's awesome.
With Angela in her element.
Another group photo?
That's a typical writers group, men and women. That happens to be all women, but I have men and women, ages all over the place.
That's amazing.
That's another group that I faithfully go to every week at Episcopal Church Home.
Here's another one.
Yep, that's after an open mic reading at Brownsboro Park. Okay. Absolutely.
And here you are taking in someone's story, it looks like.
Yes, she's reading one of her many stories, and she writes some amazing stories.
That's great.
Absolutely.
And then here we have...
Yeah, that's kind of fun. That's recent. That was the debut ribbon cutting at the Thrive Center. Okay. So I have a program that is offered at the Thrive Center now. Okay. And here's... That's a group at Elder Serve down at Oak and Acorn, and they are learning to trust me and write their stories, and they're wonderful. That's great. And I love this photo. What's going on with this? That photo is kind of, two meanings. It's, you have words on your hands. So let's open our hands. Open hands, honesty. Right? Supposedly. I am notorious for writing on my hand. Okay. I always write notes on my hand. It's a good and bad habit. Sometimes it rubs off. But I just thought it was a fun photo. Okay. Yeah. And I love this one, which kind of symbolizes the workshops. Yeah, and my feet are on the left, actually. Yeah. All right, cool. I love that. That's a cute one. Literally. And I saw this one, and I'm glad you let us share it. I thought this was cute. That's a friend that was in the workshop, and she's since moved to California, but she was one of the people that walked through the door and said, I'm not a writer, I'm not a writer. And I said, come on in. And then she started writing. Okay. And then... That's one of my two basset hounds. Nice. That's Willa. Yeah, that's my spokes dog. That's great. And this is you with your children. What are you guys doing? Yeah, that's Cooper and Lucia, my two pride and joys. Awesome. They are wonderful, wonderful children. That's great. That's great. Thank you for sharing that with us.
And I know we referenced it earlier, but I wanted you to speak to the picture there. You're welcome to pick it up if you want. If not, we can just point to it. But that's your father. And why do you like that picture so much?
That is my dad. My son took that photograph when he was 12.
Wow.
And he gave it to me a couple of Christmases ago. My dad passed away in 2012.
I'm sorry.
And I was really close to him. Obviously, we all were. I come from a big family. And he was certainly the patriarch of the family. And so this was a Christmas or two after he had died, and it was given to me as a gift. And I opened it up, and I didn't know that my son had taken this image of my father, but it's a perfect example of how he was often very deep in thought. And the important thing to know about my dad is that when he retired, he was rather lost, as a lot of people are when they retire. And his purpose was jumbled.
Yeah.
So he would disappear into the basement, and we thought he was playing chess on the computer. And, turns out he was writing his stories.
I'll be.
And I didn't know that. And this was before I started Feet to the Fire.
Unbelievable.
He was writing stories, essays, poems. He wrote about his childhood. He wrote about his being a young father. And he would print them off. And we have a legacy of his stories now.
That's great.
Unbeknownst to us until, there they all were. So he really is very much an inspiration in what I do, because I know the power of that.
That's beautiful. And it's kind of a part and parcel of your story.
Absolutely.
It's amazing.